Hello and a very warm welcome to ETStudios. At the ETStudios here, a very special guest. You're no stranger to Ritesh Aggarwal of OYO. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ritesh. And I notice you have the mark here. It means you voted. Voting just opened in Delhi today. How have you already voted and you're in Goa already? How's that happened?
So thank you for having me here, Shilpa. I just voted this morning. I was probably among the first people who went and voted this morning because I had to vote in Gurgaon and then come over to Goa later in the afternoon. I just, want to use this opportunity to tell all the viewers that India is the world's largest democracy. It's a proof point that democracies work and can be very successful as our very proud nation is. I think it's just important that, especially for the young people, I'm probably voting for the second time in my life in a national election. For the first time voters, second time voters, please go out and exercise your franchise. India will be a superpower in the many years to come because of young people like you all. And in that process, you will feel incredibly happy to have exercised your franchise. And of course, credit to Election Commission for organizing such a great job. In the summer of 40 degrees, I thought that the polling booths had taken very good care in that heat to make sure that people could come and vote. So please vote.
It's fantastic to hear, and a democracy can only thrive with the help of its citizens like you and me. So there are few more minutes or hours left. So I'm sure our viewers are going to listen to you and go out and vote. Now you're here at the CIO Annual Conclave in Goa 2024. What's a vibe check from you? What are you feeling here?
Look, I think there is palpable excitement, both from the side of CIOs who are here to meet new companies who are bringing in the newest products. But similarly, there is a lot of excitement among companies who have brought their technologies. Now, of course, there is a lot of excitement about new softwares. There's a lot of excitement about new kind of commercial deals. I picked up on the air that people were discussing about deals already. So I think the ability for people to, instead of have meetings physically over a year, they could probably have all those meetings of a year in 2 days here at the ETCIO Summit. So I think that's a great idea.
That summed up very well. We couldn't have put it better ourselves. But when people come and meet you, Ritesh Agarwal, entrepreneur, billionaire, CEO of Oyo Rooms, what is one misconception that they have?
Look, I think the one misconception that people have, which I think is changing, is that generally there is a perspective that, I probably have some unique perspectives or I'm probably very hard to get accessible to. But relatively, you'd find from people who I've just met that I try to be just the same person who I am. And life's not changed a lot, right? Look, I think OYO has allowed me a great scale, a great platform to make a big difference. But personally, I'm the same kid who was in Raigada, Odisha exactly 15 years back with dreams in his eyes. And I'm still that kid, but now I have dreams and some resources to fulfill it too.
All right. Thank you so much for, fulfilling that for us because Oyo has now become a part of everyone's life. You can spell Oyo without AI, but you can't spell leadership without AI, right? I'm sure you're tapping into AI in a big way at Oyo. Would love to hear how you're doing that.
Look, I think fundamentally, on a lighter note, I was listening one more thing. You can't spell leadership without AI. Similarly, you can't spell renaissance without AI. So I truly believe that AI is a renaissance of sorts in the world of business and the world of technology. 2 generations back, or 2 decades back, not generations, when Apple launched the App Store for the first time, companies like us were born. Today, trillions of dollars of business are transacted through the App Store. I think the same is going to happen with AI in times to come. So I have just 2 recommendations. That is one, please use any form of new generation AI as you can yourself, whether it is ChatGPT, Copilot, or things like those, which can just acclimatize you because apps existed forever. People who could monetize and take advantage of it were the ones who became the most successful. And the second opportunity is when in doubt, invest in the future. Because a lot of times there's this question of saying whether it is going to be here or not going to be here. But my view is that when in doubt, invest in the future. And that's what I've been doing here at OYO. So at OYO, we are using AI in many different ways. We are seeing that consumers are rapidly premiumizing. So our customers are moving from OYO to OYO Townhouse to Palette. So they're willing to spend that 1,000, 2,000 rupees more to have an even superior experiences. We have been able to figure that out by means of continuous consumer data points. So we are using data to bring better recommendations to our customers, dynamic pricing. We change our prices many millions of times a day. And of course, better customer service, where we are able to predict what our customers will ask for over time and try and sort of ask them in advance, saying, do you think you need lunch now and should we send it out to you? So we're trying to use everything from recommendations for hotels, pricing, in-hotel experiences, post-checkout experiences, loyalty, in a bunch of areas. We're trying to train our system so that we can make better decisions. And who knows, in the future, we can take those technologies not just in Oyo, but can share it with our other peers in the hospitality industry to use as well and open source it.
And travel now, all the users want everything to be auto completed, and I think that's exactly what you're doing. Now you have great demands on your time, but I think I have enough room for one more question, which is you mentioned data. So I'm curious, what's one big trend that you've observed in Oyo in 2024?
Look, I think there are two big trends I would say that I've observed in 2024. The first is pilgrimage and spiritual destinations being chosen by young people is at the highest I have seen in the last 10 years. So I recently, and I'm sharing this both by data and anecdotes. I recently visited Mathura and Vrindavan, which is next door to Gurgaon, so it's a pretty usual thing. And I was speaking to one of our receptionists, and the receptionist said earlier the average guests would be in their 40s or 50s. Now the average guests are in their late 20s or early 30s, right? So it shows that we're a unique country where the young in our country are as modern as a young kid in New York or in London or in Sao Paulo, but at the same time, they're so connected to their values, which sort of inspires them closer to their faith. It doesn't matter what faith you follow, but regardless of what faith you follow, people are closer to it. So that's one thing that I've seen, which is a good thing for tourism, because for all hotel partners or hotel brands like us, we are able to go open more hotels. Not just Oyo, you'd see a lot of hotel chains opening in Ayodhya, in Rameshwaram, and bunch of other places like these. And I think the second thing that I've seen is that people are now starting to take many more vacations a year. If they used to take 2 vacations earlier, now it's become almost every 4 weekends. People like to just get out of their house and go out. And well, the summers nowadays, especially in Delhi, where I am at, does not allow people to also want to stay there for longer. So every weekend they would flip up their app and say, should I go to Shimla? Should I go to Dehradun or Mussoorie or something like that? So I think religious travel and weekend travel are two big swings. Everything else is just coming back equal or ahead of COVID, right? We are at the ETCIO conference, it's packed. Conferences are back and how. People want to come, meet each other, spend time with each other, learn from each other. So I think it's the time for travel, and you're seeing this in the hospitality stocks, right? Like hospitality is the flavor of the season, and I hope that our entire industry and its earnings keeps increasing in times to come.
Absolutely, and travel is back. Revenge travel is here, but it's here to stay. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. And it is summer vacation time. So, no matter if you're watching this from vacation or from work, remember to keep staying tuned to ET Studios for more insightful conversations right here from the ET CIO Annual Conclave 2024. Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you
Thanks for
so
having
much.
me here.
Thank you.